You're teed up for GolfNewsRI TV with your host, Joe Calabro, and his guests. We're talking everything golf around the region and on the tours. Now, here's your host, Joe Calabro.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of GolfNewsRI TV. I'm GolfNewsRI co-founder and CEO, Joe Calabro. Thanks so much to everybody for joining us, and thanks to all of our sponsors for helping to make this show possible. It's been a fun season so far. We still have a couple months to go, and we're looking forward to doing more great content and more fun stuff. We're super excited to be joined today by Rhode Island legend Billy Andrade. Billy, thanks so much for taking the time out of your vacation here in Rhode Island to do the show. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate all the support you've given me since we've started 5 years ago. It's been pretty cool to have you kind of as a supporter.
Well, thanks, Joe. It's super exciting to see what you guys are doing. I love the game of golf. I love Rhode Island golf, and to see all the content you've been putting out and how much it's just gotten better and better. So I just think you guys are doing a great job, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to be on your show again.
Yeah, it's been so cool to have a relationship with you, to be able to text you or whatever. And obviously, the U.S. Senior Open last year at Newport was fun from that perspective as well. But we'll get into a bunch of things, make it fun. We'll start with kind of recent play. You've been playing pretty well. Top 20 finishes at the Senior Open and at the Dick's Open. I feel like you always play well at the Dick's Open. It feels like. But talk about kind of your recent play. Obviously, back injuries kind of hurt you at the Senior Open. That was tough to watch. But talk about, you've been playing pretty well. You're on a good run.
Yeah, I started the year off really well. It was a strange year because Mark Zions, my caddy, Ziggy, had to have shoulder surgery, so he was out for the first four and a half months, and so I had Fluff caddy for me, Mike Cowan, who's got me through,
a legend,
who got me through Q school back in 1987. The crazy thing about him though is he can't see real well, and he was coming off hip surgery, so we were kind of like the blind leading the blind the first few months. But we finished second right out of the gate in Naples and played pretty well for a little while. And then I went through a little bit of a lull and didn't play well in April and May, and then just recently back playing well again. Unfortunately, at the U.S. Open, Senior Open, we had a rain delay, and they kept us out there on the course. We didn't get to come in to warm up or re-warm up, and that's when I hit a couple swings on that back nine and in the third round, and got some back spasms going. But hopefully I'm doing my exercises, and hopefully I'll be good to go for the rest of the year.
As you've gotten older and continue to play at a high level, how important has it become for you to take care of your body? And you can't just go out and drink 20 beers and then show up the next day.
Right.
I'm not saying you've ever done that, but you know what I'm saying. How important has that become?
Well, it's very important, especially in the Champions Tour League here. I started taking care of myself early on the PGA Tour, and exercised and stretched and did all that. And then, when you turn 50, now you have a new lease on life. You have a second act to your career, and it all depends on your health. I mean, you can't play at any level in any sport hurt or nagging injuries. And I've been fortunate enough to not have any of those, no surgeries. So I've been very lucky in that aspect. But when guys turn 50, if they come out and they're extremely overweight, or they haven't worked on their body, those guys usually don't last and don't play and don't have a second act to their career. So I've been fortunate enough to do that, and I'm still going. I'm still loving it. I'm still trying to get better, and I can't wait to play my next tournament.
And we'll get to that. Well, by the time this airs, he'll be finished with the Senior British Open, but we'll get to that in a minute anyway, because as we're taping this, the actual British Open, or the PGA Tour British Open, is going on. One thing about the Senior Open is so cool, and we talked about it a little bit off air, is anybody can play, or anybody can try to qualify. And so this past year, Ed Kirby made it to the tournament. I know Brad Amonis has been trying to qualify for different events. But when you're playing a Senior Open, whether it's here or wherever. And obviously you and Brett are on tour, but you guys are probably always together in some way. When a guy like Ed Kirby shows up and gets to hang out with you guys for a few days, as a Rhode Islander, what is that like to see him or anybody else for that matter?
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. It's he couldn't keep a smile off his face in Colorado. I saw him a lot at the hotel. I didn't see him much on the course because we had different tee times. I was early late and he was late early the first 2 days. But he's 62 years old. He played in the U.S. Open, I think, at Olympic in 1987, and here we are in 2025. And Ed Kirby, the great teaching pro, and over at the Aquidneck Club is still being competitive like this and still qualifying for national championships. He's played a few senior PGAs as well, and it's always great to see guys that you grew up with. I met Eddie, I think I was 11 or 12 years old when I first met him at Alpine playing the Insurance Youth Classic back in the late 70s. So to see him still doing it is an honor. It goes to show you that the guy is still pretty damn good, and I just love having him out. It's fun to be around.
Now, talking about the U.S. Senior Open, last year, of course, was at Newport Country Club. I know you said it at the time. I know that meant a lot to you to play in that. Just curious, a year later, how do you reflect on that tournament and that week for you? I
thought it was a fantastic setup. I thought that the members at Newport Country Club did an unbelievable job welcoming all the players. The infrastructure and everything about it was fantastic. The golf course, I thought maybe it could have been a little tighter off the tee. It was pretty generous, but overall I thought it was an incredible championship. I would love to see it come back to Newport Country Club because they did such a great job. And it's just an honor as a Rhode Island golfer growing up here to have a national championship in our backyard. So for me, I was very, very proud. I played okay for a few days there. I would have loved to have played a little better than that second round. We got a little wind switch and the golf course played really tough on that Friday morning, but overall I can't complain at all. It was, I think, a win-win for Rhode Island golf and for Newport Country Club and for everybody involved. Hats off to them. You guys did an incredible job.
Is there any chance, are you hearing anything about if it's going to come back sooner rather than later? All the players loved it.
Yes, everybody loved it.
I didn't go to everybody's press conference, but I went to a lot of press conferences.
Right.
And they all loved it.
Absolutely.
So have you heard anything? Is there any chance?
I haven't heard anything, but that would be something if we can get it back.
Hopefully. Everyone loved Brookline too, and it's coming back in 2036, which is a long time from now, it seems like. So hopefully maybe we can get it back here before then. By 2036, GolfNewsRI TV might be on like ESPN or something. But we'll have more of Billy Andrade next on GolfNewsRI TV. Stay tuned. And welcome back to GolfNewsRI TV. I'm Joe Calabro. And again, thank you to all the sponsors for making this possible, making the show possible as we continue to build it now in season 2 of GolfNewsRI TV. And again, thanks to everybody. We're joined today by Billy Andrade. And Billy, we just talked about in the first segment kind of recent golf and reflecting a little bit on the U.S. Senior Open at Newport. Now I'm going to take you back to the time machine. We were talking off here. I was telling you that the Rhode Island Amateur this year was at Rhode Island Country Club, which is where you won it in 1983. They had a big sign with all the past champions, and you were on it. And I was looking back at history because one of the storylines was Bobby Leopold going for 6, and I made a graphic for it. We had it on TV. And I was looking through past winners to see who had what and everything. And there was a unique period of time there in like the early 80s where Faxon had won one. Paul Quigley was still a monster on the amateur circuit here. And then you beat him in 1983. I think he's still bitter about that. He wants a rematch, I hear. No, that was a joke. He'll be calling me. And then Brett Quigley won, I think, a couple years later, and he beat his father in the semis. Just talk about that unique period of time. Did it feel unique to you guys at the time that this is something special, or you guys were just kids and just trying to win?
Well, we had a lot of talent. We had a lot of great players that played the Rhode Island Golf Association, that played in the Rhode Island Amateur. So,
and including your caddy, Ziggy.
Yeah,
I don't want to leave him out. Mark Zions.
Right. Mark Zions won. He won in '86. So, it was just a lot of good players from a lot of clubs. And when you get everybody together, you know you're going to have to play some really good golf to win. In '83, I was playing well. I had a good freshman year at Wake Forest, and had a hot summer that summer. I won there, and then I won, I think, the next week at the New England Amateur up at Crown Point in Vermont. So, yeah, and I think before that I might have won the state stroke play, which might have been one of the first ones they started. It was at Montauk. So, to beat the best, I mean that's what we're all trying to do. Very lucky that I get the legend. I get Paul Quigley in the finals, and Brett was caddying for him. I think he was like 12 or 13. I was 18 or 19, and I just remember I beat him on the 14th hole. So that was, we had 6 holes to go, 4 holes to go. I beat him on 14 in the afternoon, and I remember Brett crying, because I don't think he's ever seen his dad lose before. It might have been one of the first times Paul lost a big match like that. But great memories. One of the members there, Mr. McGinn, took a video. He had a video camera and gave it to my dad like 10 years ago. So I saw this video of this state amateur of Paul and I going at it. So that was really cool. But that era, Dana Quigley was back as a club pro in this area, and he was winning all the PGA Club Pro stuff. Brad Faxon was this up-and-comer and won the state juniors and won the state am, and he was getting ready to turn pro. And here I come up after Brad, so it was just kind of the cycle. But there was so many players that in that time frame that were really good. So I think that elevated me. I also think that, I thought Brad Faxon, does everyone putt like this guy? I just thought that I was a decent putter as well. But I think the influence in this whole area with Donald Ross and those crown greens and small greens, where we're not going to hit a lot of fairways, we're not going to hit a lot of greens, but we're going to get the ball up and down. So we learned how to get the ball up and down. And I really think that really helped us as we went along in our careers in college and then on the pro level. It was the number one thing you learn when you play Rhode Island golf is you got to get the ball in the hole quickly. And if you miss a green, you got to get this thing up and down, and you have a lot of imagination that you have to use. So that time frame was fantastic. I was playing at Wanamatonamy, and then when my dad told me this about 10 years ago, when I was 16 years old, my dad joined Rhode Island Country Club. And he joined Rhode Island because they had a lot of great players there. He did it for my career, to help my career, where I had better competition. So the competition was stiff then, and it really helped me in my career. Do
you think playing in New England is still helping kids today? Do you think that still is a benefit for guys that are up and coming? We have a couple kids on the Corn Ferry Tour, a couple guys playing mini tours and still grinding it out. Do you think playing up here in these various conditions is still beneficial in some way?
I remember our legendary golf coach at Wake Forest was Jesse Haddock, and Coach Haddock always loved northern golfers versus southern golfers.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
He loved northern golfers because they were tougher, that you played in those kind of conditions like you're saying, Joe. If it's raining and it's blowing 20 miles an hour, if you're playing, you still got to go out and play. You still got to play in those tournaments. And guys in the South were a little softer. If the conditions were good, they were good. But if the conditions weren't good, they didn't have to worry about it because they had 365 days a year to play. We didn't. We had a small window here in the summer, to play in our tournaments and try to get better. So I always thought that I always loved that because I was from the North. So I always loved hearing my legendary college golf coach talk about being tougher and being able to play in different conditions, and that's what you have to do up here.
That's so interesting that you say that, because I feel like, at least, not that I was ever going pro, obviously, but you hear people talking about, if you want to make the PGA Tour, you have to move down south, you have to move to Florida, you have to move to, maybe not California, but you know what I'm saying. And it's interesting that you say that coaches actually liked guys from up here, because it's a little bit more challenging at times.
Yeah, you play in all kind of conditions. You play if you get a nice day in the wintertime, you're out there playing.
I know people that play in 30-degree weather.
Right. Yeah.
Not me though.
So I just think it's pretty cool. And then you got all these great courses up here too. that you have to learn how to get the ball in the hole. And you know, the courses up here maybe aren't as long, but you learn how to shoot a score. You learn how to shoot a 65 when you're a good player and you're a high school kid and a college kid. And that's what you got to learn how to do if you want to get to the next level.
Absolutely. We'll have more Billy Andrade next on GolfNewsRI TV. Stay tuned. Welcome back to GolfNewsRI TV. I'm Joe Calabro. Thanks again to everyone for tuning in. We're here with Billy Andrade, right on the water. The dock of the bay, is a famous song says. I want to throw a couple of quick hit questions at you for Rhode Island. Something different, something fun. Get off the straight golf talk. So first one is favorite restaurant in Rhode Island. Where does Billy Andrade go and dine out?
Well, you know what? I live in Bristol here, so I got to stay in my hometown. We got a lot of great restaurants. My go-to for swordfish is Dion's. If you want a lobster, you go to the Lobster Pot, and if you want just great seafood, you go to Quito's. So those three are my top three.
Oh, you just clam in your backyard?
Oh yeah,
backyard, like you were telling me.
Yeah, that too.
We just came off the 4th of July, kind of, sort of. The Bristol 4th of July parade might be one of the most famous ones, certainly in the region, if not the country.
In the country, Joe.
In the country.
Yeah, we're not up in North Smithfield.
Hey. How many times have you gone, and what's your favorite memory of it?
I haven't missed much, but I did miss this year. We had a wedding in Colorado after the Senior Open that we had to go to, so I missed it this year. I missed it a few times, you know, in college, playing in a tournament here or there. But no, this is High Holy Week, High Holy time here in Bristol. Everybody comes back. You see old friends that you grew up with. We used to go down to my grandmother's house first on Hope Street, and then we went down to Andrade Insurance, because that was kind of nice, because if it was hot, you could go into the insurance office and it was air conditioned, and you can get some water in there or whatever. So we used to watch it there forever. But yeah, great memories of watching it. My dad was the chief marshal in 1972. I remember being a part of that. I was 8, 9 years old, and it was something I'll never forget. So when you're born here in Bristol and you have this tradition called the 4th of July parade, the oldest in the country. Like I said, it's High Holy time, and you really should be back.
Absolutely. If you could play, back to the golf, if you could play one course in Rhode Island for the rest of your life, if you could play as many times as you want, what would it be?
Well, now you're making it really tough. Can I have a couple?
Sure.
I mean,
You're Billy Andrade. You can play wherever you want, so it's not really a fair question. It doesn't take much.
Wannamois, it's fantastic. Newport's fantastic. Totally different setups. Totally different kind of golf, but it's still unbelievable that you're in the same state. I got to play Shelter Harbor. Aquidneck Club has gotten so much better over the years. It's such a great place to go. And then I grew up at Wanamatonomy in Middletown. Seth Rayner, another gem. So we have so many great courses here. And I'm sorry if I didn't mention a few more. Montauk, is down the street. And you got Bristol Golf Park now. It's a little 9-hole course right here.
Relatively new. Yeah.
It's pretty cool what they've done there here in a little town of Bristol.
For as far back as I can remember, you've always had, everybody has brands on their hats and everything. You always worn the MLB logo. Why? Is this your love of baseball, or where did that come from?
Well, it started back at the Tour Championship. I got paired with the guy who started MLB.com. This was when I was 49 years old. And I've been with MLB for 12 years now, and they signed me up, and I represent them, and I just love the game, and it's nice to have this cross promotion. I play in golf, and people see my hat and they see baseball. MLB loves it, and I'm excited to still be a part of it.
Quickly, in the minute that we have left, I want to get this one in. You're close friends with Terry Francona. That came out last year.
Yes.
He was honorary chair at the Senior Open. Did you ever expect him to go back into managing now with the Reds, or did you have any idea that was going to happen?
I stayed with him last year at the Tucson tournament, and Ziggy and I stayed at his house, and he talked about maybe getting back into it because he was feeling better. I didn't know where he was going to go, but I had an inclination that he was probably going to get back into it, and he's just a wonderful man. He's unbelievable. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame after his career's over, and so now I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan.
The Red Sox have won like 10 in a row.
I know. I'm still a Red Sox fan, but I'm a Terry fan too.
Don't want to get anyone too angry. Listen, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. Really
Absolutely,
appreciate
Joe.
You inviting us and letting us do this. So thanks for all the support. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. This is GolfNewsRI TV. We will talk to you next time. I'm Joe Calabro. Talk to you later.